The first thing you want to do is get your helper if you're going to have one, and then get all your ingredients together. Today is the day we are going to officially announce Roxanne with Roxanne's Cheesy Crackers. This is a really simple recipe with not a lot of ingredients, and it doesn't take much time or effort to make them. But it pays off in dividends. You can make hundreds, if not 1,000, little individual bite-sized treats for your puppies so that they can learn how to train and do all kinds of cute little cues. Roxanne is now a year old, and we thought this would be a great way to introduce her and have just a little bit of fun in the kitchen. The first thing you're going to need is 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. That's about 226 grams. Now, I like to shred it myself, but you can use pre-packaged shredded cheese. The problem with pre-packaged shredded cheese is you have to read those ingredients carefully because they add in some fillers to keep it from caking together. Some of those fillers may not be dog safe. And as always, my veterinarian disclaimer, ask your vet whenever you're making a recipe for your particular dog, especially if they have any health issues. You do not want to exacerbate any of their conditions. For that reason, I use block cheese. A really easy tip to clean graters of any type is to get this under warm water as soon as possible. I like to use a toothbrush to brush around all the grates. That way I don't cut myself and I don't tear up my sponge. Now, since I made a little mess, my cleaning crew is coming around to help me clean it up. They are pretty enthusiastic about their job. Say hello to Maggie, Raymond, and Roxanne, everybody. They are such good dogs. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how to angle the camera where you can see them a little bit better. In a large bowl, we have that 2 cups of shredded cheese, and you can use any type of shredded cheese that your dog can easily digest. Always check with your veterinarian when using exotic cheeses because some of them have molds in it that aren't particularly safe for your dog. For the amount of flour, we are going to use 4.5 cups of white rice flour, that's 680 grams. You can use brown rice flour, and you can also use regular flour if your dog can tolerate it. However, you may need to adjust the water up and down. Once you add the flour to the cheese, pick up the cheese and the flour in your hands and rub it between your fingers like this. What you want to do is continue to do this motion until you break up that cheese into as fine as particles as you can make it. Think about coarse breadcrumbs. This is similar to making biscuits. What we are doing is distributing that fat into the flour so that it bakes evenly and you don't get greasy spots or get dry spots in the cracker in the end. Now, if you wanted to, you could use a food processor or a blender and pulse it until it's fine. However, not many people have that, so I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. This is the texture you're going for. Again, you can use a blender or a food processor to make quick work of this, but I find it's pretty relaxing to do it by hand. Once you have the cheese and the flour blended together, you're going to add in a small amount of oil. You can use olive oil or any type of cooking oil that is safe for a dog. 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters. Now we are going to add in some water. I am going to add in 1.5 cups of water, that's 360 milliliters, and I'm going to only add it in a little bit at a time so that way I don't overhydrate the dough. This makes it a lot easier to bring together. And I'm just going to use my hand and stir it together and press it until it forms a nice clump of dough. This takes about a total of 2 to 3 minutes. In the end, your dough should come cleanly away from the bowl and look like this, one big giant lump. At this point, I like to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. A really good tip if you have a cutting board and it's sliding around is to get a damp rag and to lay it out on the surface before you put on your cutting board. This rag has been used to clean up the flour off the table, that's why it looks dirty. Now notice how the cutting board stays in place. While working with the dough, you want to get a piece of wax paper or a lid and cover up the remaining dough so it doesn't dry out. Set that aside and then we're going to get a baking sheet. I like to use a baking sheet lined with parchment paper for easier cleanup, but you can put this directly on the baking sheet. The only downside of putting it directly on the pan is when you go to cut it, you could cut up your pan. That's why I like to use the parchment paper. Now we are going to take a hunk of the dough and we are going to start patting it out into a 1/8 inch thick sheet. That's about 3 millimeters. If you wanted to, you could take your time, roll this dough out and make fun little shapes over and over again. For training, this is how I like to make them. I take a bit of the dough and I start in a corner and I just start patting it down onto the parchment paper. This doesn't take a long time, but you will be here a few minutes. Once you have the dough evenly patted out onto the parchment paper, now you're going to cut it. You have two options here. You can cut it on a cutting board like I'm doing here and then transfer it into your baking sheet, or you can cut it directly on the baking sheet. When you cut it directly on the baking sheet, do be mindful of pressing too hard because you can mar up your surface. You want to cut these into about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch square. That's around roughly a centimeter square for you people that follow the metric system. You don't have to be precise here. The dogs don't care if the lines aren't perfect. And I cannot do this straight. I use a pizza cutter because I'm having some issues with my joints again, but you can use a sharp knife, just be very careful. You can also use a ruler and make these as meticulous as you want them to be. You're going to transfer this carefully but quickly onto your baking sheet. Now I'm going to do this very quickly and then I'm going to do it very slowly so you can see the difference in what happens when you pull it onto the baking sheet and why I say to do it quickly but carefully. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? I like to use a pizza cutter, not only for my own safety, but because it makes quick work of this. Yes, it does make them a little bit lopsided, but again, your dogs don't care. They are just so happy you care about them and you are making them special little treats. When you go to train your dog for any length of time, you're going to find out so many of those treats that you buy in the stores are either super expensive for the healthier ones, or they are full of sodium and sugar. You don't need to be giving your dog that, especially when they're a puppy. So if you do this right, pick up the edges and just slide it over onto the edge of your baking pan. It does help to have a second pair of hands, but if you used a cutting board like I do, you already have a built-in lip for you. This is a little bit tricky, and don't be surprised when you go to pull them over, they all spill all over the place. Some of them did on this edge, and that's not so bad. I can just line it back up into place. On the second sheet I made, I decided to go a lot slower and let you see what happens if you go too slow at this process. It tends to make everything bunched up. This is not a big deal because you are making these for the dogs, and the whole process of cooking them is to bake them and to dry them out a bit. It doesn't matter if they overlap a little bit. They will stick where they overlap, but that's okay. They break easily because you cut them into squares. If you want to, you can take your time and you could pick up the ones that are overlapping and place them around the edges so that way you don't have to worry about them sticking too much together. You now want to bake these 35 to 45 minutes or until they're just lightly golden brown on the edges. For those of you that are using a thermometer, you want the temperature to get around 200 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 93 degrees Celsius roughly. Now, before you feed these to your dogs, you want these to cool down completely. And one important thing I realized after I walked away is these are too close to the counter. I'm going to take my oven mitts and I'm going to scoot them closer to the center so that way no little paws can get burned as these are cooling down. Once they have cooled, it is now time to break these apart. Take your time here, and it's going to take quite a bit of time depending on how many you cut up. This particular batch was over 977 treats, and I was here for a good 15-20 minutes. You're going to have some very impatient dogs watching you do this, so I recommend you work quickly. So as I'm breaking these apart, I share some with the dogs. Be careful of doing this, however, because you will create a dog that wants to beg while you're eating. As usual, we need to have some taste testing done on our recipes. Let's see what the girls think about it, and maybe Raymond will come for an appearance as well. Let me see if I can adjust the camera this time. Maggie thinks these are a hit. She is so excited. Maggie is always first in line. This dog loves to eat, especially cheese. Macaron Maggie has earned her nickname as sous chef. Yes, I know, my dogs are counter surfers, and that is perfectly fine with me. They are very sweet dogs, and they mind 99% of the time. I want dogs that are happy, healthy, and joyful, and I don't mind if they're a little cheeky or sassy now again. Well, Roxanne was a little bit confused. She's never tried to get up onto the counter and counter surf before. What have I taught my girls? It's okay, guys, if you want your dogs to do a little bit of ornery things now and then, have fun with life. There's no point in having a super obedient dog if your dog and you are miserable. Now you may be wondering why Raymond doesn't jump on the counter. In fact, he has never counter surfed. He's just an easygoing dog, and he was so easy to train as a puppy. 12 years later, and he's still very well-mannered. You have to actually invite him up to jump up on your leg. But we don't want to leave him out, so let's make sure that we get him plenty to eat as well. I hope you guys enjoyed watching Roxanne, Maggie, and Raymond make Roxanne's cheese crackers. It's a very easy recipe to do, and making dog treats is a very fun way to engage your dogs and have their minds very active. Sometimes we take life so seriously, especially when we're dealing with hardships, but what I love about our dogs is they put the joy back where it belongs. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy baking.